Next, we're going detective mode in The Great Mouse Detective. Basil saves the day. Dr. David Q. Dawson had traveled to London for the celebration of Queen Mousedoria's 60th year on the throne. On a rainy night in the great city, the doctor wandered through the streets, looking for a room to rent. Suddenly he heard the sound of weeping. He followed the sound and found a young mouse in tears, sitting in a dark corner. Dr. Dawson hurried over to her aid. The little mouse's name was Olivia Flavorsham. "I'm trying to find Basil on Baker Street," she explained. She handed Dr. Dawson a newspaper and a clipping of an article about the Great Mouse Detective. "I don't know any Basil," said Dr. Dawson, "but I do know where Baker Street is." Together they found a home of Basil of Baker Street. There, little Olivia told her story to the detective. Her father, a kind and gentle toy maker, had been taken by a bat with a peg leg. Basil knew the creature well. It was Fidget, the assistant to his worst enemy, Professor Ratigan. "Who knows what dastardly scheme that villain may be plotting, even as we speak?" exclaimed Basil. Later that evening, the terrifying face of the bat appeared in the window. Basil and Dr. Dawson raced outside. Fidget was gone, but the mice found his hat lying in the street. It was just the clue that they needed to track Fidget. The detective found his friend Toby, a basset hound. Toby sniffed the hat and carried the mice through the streets of London to a toy shop. Inside, dolls, games, and toys were piled to the ceiling. Basil noticed that some mechanical parts were missing for some of the toys. What had Fidget been up to here? And what kind of evil scheme was Ratigan plotting? It was dark and quiet. Olivia did not realize the danger she was in. She wandered over to a pretty doll cradle. Curious, she peeked inside. Suddenly, Fidget jumped out at her. He stuffed Olivia into a bag and raced toward a window in the roof. Basil tried to give chase. But a pile of toys tripped him up. The bat had gotten away with Olivia. Basil paced around the toy shop thinking hard. Then Dawson pulled out a piece of paper that he had discovered earlier. Fidget had left it behind. Back at Basil's house, they did several experiments and found that the paper had salt water and coal dust on it. Aha! Ratigan's hideout had to be near the riverfront. Dressed in disguises, Basil and Dawson made their way to a tavern near the harbor. Before long, Basil spotted Fidget. Quickly, Basil and Dr. Dawson followed it through a series of drainage pipes to Ratigan's secret lair. "Surprise!" yelled Ratigan and his men. Basil had walked right into his trap. Ratigan tied down Basil and Dawson in a mouse trap. All around them were deadly contraptions rigged to a record player. When the song ended, the mice would be doomed. "It was my fond hope to see and witness your final scheme," said Ratigan. "But you were 15 minutes late, and I do have an important engagement at Buckingham Palace." As Ratigan flew off in a blimp, Basil began to think hard. He calculated the angles and timing of the trap. By setting it off early, the mice were soon free. Without a moment to lose, they found Olivia and raced to Buckingham Palace after Ratigan. There they discovered what he was up to. With the toy parts Fidget had stolen, Ratigan had forced Olivia's father, the toy maker, to build a robot that looked and talked just like Queen Mousedoria. Then Ratigan had captured the real queen. Now there was a huge crowd listening to the robot queen. The robot was telling the queen's subjects that she was naming a new royal consort, Ratigan. But Basil arrived just in time. He gained control of the robot queen and used it to foil Ratigan's plan. Then Basil rushed on stage and yelled, "Now arrest that fiend!" The angry crowd had chased after Ratigan, but he snatched Olivia and flew away in his blimp. Basil, Dawson, and Olivia's father made their own hot air balloon out of balloons, a flag, and a matchbox. They rose up into the sky and chased Ratigan. Bravely, Basil jumped onto Ratigan's blimp just as it crashed into Big Ben, the giant clock tower. Ratigan, with Basil and Olivia right behind him, scrambled into the tower, dodging the clock's enormous gears. Basil shoved Ratigan's cape into the clockwork, trapping him. Then Basil picked Olivia up and raced away, intent on getting her out of harm's way. Just as Basil was delivering Olivia to her father, Ratigan reappeared and jumped at them. Basil and Ratigan both tumbled down through the air. They landed on giant hands of the clock. And Ratigan came at Basil once again. He knocked Basil from the hands, but as Basil fell, he grabbed a hold of it. The blimp wreckage. Basil hung on for dear life. Bong! Bong! The clock chimed the hour. The minute hand moved, and Ratigan lost his balance. As he fell through the air, he grabbed at Basil's foot. The rope that Basil was hanging from snapped under their weight. Down they fell toward the city below, carrying some of the blimp wreckage with them. Olivia started to cry, but then a faint sound gave her new hope. Hooray! There was Basil, soaring up toward them, using the propeller of the blimp as a pedal-powered helicopter. The great mouse detective has saved itself, and saved the day once again. The end.